Hi everyone, before we do get started, you can download your free handouts just down there in the Dropbox on the right hand side. And also where that Dropbox is, there's a little questions tab as well. So you can ask questions through this presentation at any time. Make note of our number, 1300 938 534. I can see there's just a couple of people still signing in, and it looks as though they're nearly ready to go. And we've already got a fabulous turnout here today. So let's kick off. My name is Narelle, and it is absolutely my pleasure to be joining you today as we journey through Canada. I don't know about you, but I've got a bit of cabin fever here in Australia. So the second that those borders reopen, I'll be planning a trip back to Canada. And if you notice then, I just said back to Canada because I did live in Canada for about 6 years over in Toronto. Let's have a look here at what we will cover in today's presentation. We're going to have a look at some of the accommodations on board VIA Rail's overnight journeys, and that's so important so you can actually get a good night's sleep whilst you're travelling by train. We're going to have a look at some of the itineraries across Canada. We're also going to look at itineraries that are focusing on the East Coast, just the West Coast, but also coast to coast. We'll also have a look at the pricing there as well. We'll also have a look at the best time to travel through Canada, as that is a very common question. And we'll be finishing off with what some of the Railbookers offers are right now. The Yankee Leisure Group operates a few different brands, and today we are here because of VIA Rail Vacations. That's our e-brochure there over on the left-hand side. We can easily send one to you through your email address. All you need to do is pop that into the questions box there. Just say, I'd like a VIA Rail Vacations brochure, or a Railbookers brochure, or an Amtrak Vacations brochure, or all three, and we'll be able to email you those brochures there. Another way to really have a good look at some of the itineraries that we can suggest for you is to visit our website of railbookers.com.au. We do focus very heavily on Amtrak vacations from time to time as well, and we do have some upcoming webinars probably next month or the month after when it comes to America. A lot of those trains will cross into the border over to Canada, and that's where the VIA Rail Vacations come in. But our Railbookers brand in the middle there, that is pretty much the rest of the world. So we've got two that focus on North America because it is such a popular destination, and then also Europe is super duper popular, and that comes into our Railbookers brochure there also. But we are here because of Canada, so let's kick this off. When you do call through to us, we will always quote you in Australian dollars. Now, when you do call through, it is only a 3-second hold time. And we have got the most experienced people to be able to help you put together your rail holiday for Canada. We know because we go. So what we are able to recommend some new places for you, or looking at some routes, or how long you can stay in each place. It really depends on what your budgets are, and so we can help you there as well. We can speak from first-hand experience. Another way to look at experiences, we can also help you tackle those bucket list experiences. And rail travel, funnily enough, does come into some of those bucket list experiences, and a lot of that could be the destination, or it could be that onboard experience as well. The beautiful thing about the onboard experience when it comes to Railbookers and just travelling by train is it's the freedom and flexibility. There's no middle seats. You've got great panoramic windows, and you can get up and wander around the train and go into the cafe car or the dining area when you can. So it's not as if you're strapped into a seatbelt and you can only go up when the cabin light is turned off. So that's another big benefit there as well. And also there are glass viewing domes, so that's where the freedom and flexibility really comes into putting together these rail trips. And also you can choose how long you choose to stay for. We can customize any itinerary for you. So when it comes to customizing itineraries, we can put together all of these sightseeing activities, hotels of your choice. The itineraries that we'll be looking at very soon are based on 4-star with breakfast. We can put together any itinerary for you that will include accommodations from 3, 4, 5-star, breakfast included, breakfast not included. So it really depends on what you're looking for in your overall experience, and also budgets do come into play as well. We can also offer you the confirmed seat reservations. So this is the beautiful thing about booking 24 months in advance with Railbookers, is we can confirm those seats well and truly ahead of the game. We can also match those train links with the ferry network. We'll have a look at one here that's got a ferry involved when it comes to Canada. We can also book you in for those overnight rail journeys and also any excursions and sightseeing activities. We can put all of this into your itinerary so you don't have to worry about a thing when you get there. You just show up and enjoy yourself. You've heard me mention a couple of times here about customizing your rail holiday. So it's pretty easy. We can put together any itinerary for you for any amount of time. And that could be not only just for Canada, North America, Amtrak vacations, and also Europe. So that comes across, you know, with all of those e-brochures that we just saw. What we have on our website and in those e-brochures are just suggested itineraries, ones that we know people are really enjoying and what they're booking. But if you'd like to stay only one night in Montreal, if you'd like to spend a whole week in Vancouver, we can do that for you. So pretty much you tell us how long you have to travel, what your budgets are, how long you want to stay in each place, or if you need our recommendations, we are more than happy to recommend the length of stay in each place. It's very common that someone would come to me and ask me, how long should I be staying in Montreal for? So we can help you there as well. So that's pretty much what customizing is, as well as upgrading to different types of sleeping accommodations on board the train. And of course, we looked at it before, the hotels of your choice. So here are just a couple of examples of the hotels of your choice that we can put you in. The beautiful Lake Louise there on the left-hand side there, that's one of the Fairmont hotels there. And so that is if you wanted to treat yourself to a nicer style option, that's the one that you'd be looking at. Generally in Canada, accommodations are just fantastic. They're large rooms, sometimes there's 2 queen beds or sometimes just 1 queen bed. The facilities are great, so you'll always have a great choice of different types of accommodations. And it could then just come down to how close you want to be to the train station. So we can also factor all of that in for you as well. I mentioned that we know because we go, and that is so true. Here are some of our staff from around the world that have just recently experienced the VIA Rail vacations product through Canada. And what we do is we all go on these trips every year and we all compare notes. We not only look at what it's like to experience these rail journeys, but we also look at what it's like off board that train as well. And we really try and help you there when it comes to putting together your fabulous holiday. Now let's have a look here of the map of Canada. You'll see all of those different coloured lines. They're actually a different train name. So you've got the Canadian that goes from Vancouver to Toronto. We're going to have a look at that particular one in an itinerary coming up. We've also got one of my favourites is the Ocean, which goes from pretty much down from the Toronto, the Quebec area up and into Halifax, out there to the Maritimes. So if the train goes there, so do we. So don't forget to download your free map from that handout section, and then you can start to plan away. But if there's a train station, if VIA Rail go there, then we can get you there as well. The best time to travel through Canada? Well, it really depends on what you're looking to experience. I would say all around the year is a great time to travel, depending, because if it's in the winter, a lot of people want to go there and see the snow, and you're guaranteed to see snow in the winter in Canada. The flora and fauna really come out around the August and September mark. So that's also a really good time. So that's their summertime. That's when like bears and all of these amazing wildlife features are more prominent in Canada. There's also the most beautiful scenery in the fall. So you've got all of the beautiful different coloured leaves on the trees. And also spring, just like here in Australia, there's just something beautiful about spring, and that's the same with Canada. So really, if it's your first time visiting Canada, really think about what kind of temperatures and where your interest is. Do you want the colours of the autumn leaves, which is something that we don't see as much here when you're really comparing it to a country like Canada? Do you want the beautiful weather through the summer, which is generally hits its peak in August. So I absolutely love the Canadian summers, and what I did notice is the local produce around any time of year and also around the summer, they really focus on what is in season. And we're going to have a look at some of the meals that are served on board VIA Rail and how it is all locally sourced and within the seasonality, which really adds to the flavour of the food. There's a lot of different reasons also to travel through Canada by train, but the most obvious one is it's not just about the destination, it is about the voyage. And by that, I mean, you get on city to city service and you can see from the outskirts of those cities, and then you're going into a fantastic landscape, rolling mountains, hills, lakes, wide panoramic windows, getting up, having the room to roam, and then bringing you into your next destination. The scenery is second to none, and it is forever changing, and you can never get bored with that live show out there. We're going to kick straight in and having a look at not only what we see outside of that train, which is what we just covered, but let's have a look at what it's like to be on board that VIA Rail experience. So this, on board the VIA Rail, there's a few different classes that we will be looking at, and we're going to start off with economy. So this is really if you're on a budget. If you're doing a day trip, economy is also absolutely fine. However, if you are looking at doing an overnight journey, I might be introducing you to your next level of upgrade there. And sometimes it doesn't cost that much extra in order to upgrade, so it's always well worth getting a price. The economy class does give you complimentary access to the dome car. You can also purchase food from a takeout stand, which is also located in the dome car. And that takeout stand will have things like muffins, sandwiches, soda, beer, wine, chips, etc. And depending on availability, coach passengers may also be able to access the dining car. But that really depends on what time of year you travel as well, and the seasonality. The next level up is the berth. So this is a seat by day, and then it converts into a bed at night. And these can be upper and lower berths, and these are the most economical entry into that Sleeper Plus class. Now, there is a privacy at night with a heavy curtain that encloses the sleeping area, separating the upper and lower berth. You can also get freshly prepared meals in the dining car, which are included in that fare, as it is also access to several dome cars as well. You've also got access to the restrooms at the end of the sleeping car, which are just a few steps from the berth accommodation. And it's only people in that berth accommodation that have access to that particular restroom facility. The next step up would be the cabin for one if you're traveling on your own. So this has a door that locks from the inside, and it also has a covered toilet. However, I will say that we don't find too many people using their toilet, unless it might be in the middle of the night, perhaps. They still like to use the facilities down the hall. It is a love seat by day, and also that large window there, you can actually enjoy that passing scenery in the privacy of your own private cabin. It also includes a sink with running hot and cold drinking water, as well as access to the shower down the hall. Now, the entire space does turn into bed at night. It's pretty much very similar to a first class pod on an airplane. So that's probably the best comparison that I can give you there. You can also obtain your freshly prepared meals in the dining car. And that's the beautiful cabin for one. If you're traveling with a friend, then, or your significant other, of course, then there is a cabin for two as well. So it's all very similar as well, just that cabin for two. The top of the range is the prestige class, and I think you can see from this image as to why it is top of the range. It's a couch by day, and then it folds into a full-size bed of an evening. Absolutely beautiful. That one's on my bucket list personally. I did mention dining on board VIA Rail. So these are all locally sourced produce, and it's all within season. And so it doesn't matter what time of year you travel on board VIA Rail, you are definitely in for a fine treat when it comes to comes to your meals on board. Now that we've tackled the onboard experience and of course the food, let's have a look at some of these itineraries. Now remember, every single one of these itineraries, we've got the starting price at a 4-star accommodation with breakfast. Should you want to lower that price, we can do 3-star, or we can do 3-star with breakfast. If you would like to treat yourself to some more superior hotels, we can increase that as well to the 5-star level. So this is really just to give you a bit of a rough idea. And I'm pointing that out because I know a few of you who have joined us today did put that in your registration, that you're interested in seeing the prices. So I just want you to see how that works there. But the easiest way is to give us a call and we can talk you through that, and we can actually go more into detail for that for you. The best of the Eastern Canada here incorporates Niagara Falls up to Montreal, Quebec City, and also Halifax. The beautiful thing about this is it incorporates the fantastic Maritimes out there in Halifax. You can take a nice little day trip out to Peggy's Cove. You've also got the French influence there of Montreal and Quebec City, and of course Niagara Falls on the Canadian side. So quite a number of good destinations here that are on bucket list itineraries for people. So that's that beautiful side there of the East Coast. When we're looking at spending a few nights on board the train, well, this is the itinerary to do that. And that is because it's 4 nights on board VIA Rail. So anyone who has done overnight train travel before and absolutely loves it, then this could be that itinerary for you. It does go Vancouver to Toronto, but also we can do that from Toronto to Vancouver. We can also increase nights in Toronto, we can increase nights in Vancouver. When you're spending the 4 nights on board VIA Rail, something to consider here is that is why it's so important to probably look at getting yourself into one of the sleeper cabins in the berths, just because it is a straight 4 nights there. But the experience is second to none. And if you really want to experience cross-country Canada, this is how you do it. This itinerary links the 2 major cities of Canada, which are so diverse in their own right, but also so fabulous to visit, and they've got such great sites. And we can also put you on that hop-on, hop-off city sightseeing tours of these cities. The Canadian Rockies, Eastbound, is, well, everybody knows about Canada and the Canadian Rockies. So this is usually the first trip that a lot of people will do when they go to Canada, is they will tackle and tick off the Rockies. This is done with VIA Rail vacations, and what makes this one so special is you do get to spend 1 night on board VIA Rail whilst you're heading out there to the Rockies. Now you don't miss anything in that train travel there, so you're not missing out on any landmark landscapes and so forth. So it actually gets you there and gives you that nice little experience of spending 1 night on board the train if you haven't had an overnight journey on a train before. It could be a good little introduction for you. What I love about this as well is we can get you out to Victoria, which is also known as Vancouver Island. It's a quick ferry across. You can spend the day out there. It's one of my most favourite places out on that side of Canada. And of course, heading on out to Jasper, Banff, Lake Louise, and then finishing in Calgary. Let's not forget, Calgary is famous for the Stampede. So if you end up going around Stampede time, that could be a lot of fun as well. And here are just some of the fantastic highlights that you will see on that particular itineraries if you're to focus on just the Rockies alone. That's with VIA Rail. So now I'm going to show you what it would be like if you're to traveling on the Rocky Mountaineer. Now, the Rocky Mountaineer is by far a luxury product. It is very prestigious, and it is a bucket list itinerary for many. Unfortunately, the Rocky Mountaineer may not be affordable for a lot of people. So that's where VIA Rail comes in. It's the same train tracks, it's the same scenery, just the onboard experience may be different. So when you're looking at this particular itinerary, we can also put you on 1 night VIA Rail, so you can really have that fantastic experience of staying overnight, and then you can transfer over to the Rocky Mountaineer. The Rocky Mountaineer is made of 2 different carriages. So you've got the upper and lower deck, and also the single carriages there also. So the gold leaf is the most superior, when it was the premium, I should say, option. Again, on my bucket list for sure, but you can see there just the luxurious way to travel and the amount of legroom and that glass viewing dome. You never get bored with that scenery. So this is the double deck dome cars, and they're very modern. There's upstairs under the glass roof, there are about 72 reclining seats, and they've also got loads of legroom and also drop down tables. The downstairs is also reached by a spiral staircase or a wheelchair lift should you need to use that. And then that's where the toilets and the kitchens and also the 36-seat restaurant for breakfast and lunch is open. Breakfast and lunch are served downstairs in that restaurant in 2 different sittings as well. So it's very structured, but very well organised also. If there is an availability for any reason, or gold leaf isn't quite within the budget bracket that you had thought, then we can easily have a look at the silver leaf for you as well. With the silver leaf, it's a single deck dome car, and they've got huge panoramic windows. Now this also does include breakfast and lunch, and also complimentary drinks. Meals, however, the difference is, are served at your seats and not in the dining car. So we've looked at the VIA Rail side of things, we've looked at the Rocky Mountaineer, and now let's have another look back here on what would be the biggest itinerary we can offer, and also more if you wanted to extend days, is the coast to coast. Okay, and we're looking at it from eastbound from Vancouver to Halifax, but we can also start the journey in Halifax and head on over to Vancouver. So this is where you'll be spending 3 nights on board VIA Rail. A common question we do get asked is if you wanted to stop at a train station somewhere in one of these provinces, can you do so? So for example, if you wanted to stop at Winnipeg, yes, we can incorporate that into your itinerary. However, you will need to wait another 3 days for the train to come back through. So we've got to make sure that it all matches there as well. So this incorporates everything from your Rocky Mountains all the way out there to the beautiful Maritimes, and also the French influence of Quebec. We've got the fabulous Glacier Skywalk and also Iceland's Parkway, which is some of the excursions. These are just a little taster of some of the excursions that we can put you on. These, as I mentioned, we do have the hop on, hop off city sites, and there's also a lot of other different sightseeing excursions. But when you're doing the Rocky Mountains, these are the must-sees and do's. So the Glacier Skywalk, you pretty much step out on a cliff edge walkway, and that's where the glaciers will perch above you, and you've just got the spectacular valley that spreads out below. It's absolutely breathtaking. The Iceland's Parkway is a really fun and very diverse excursion. So you've got glaciers, cascading waterfalls, you've got dramatic rock spires and emerald lakes, all set pretty much amongst these sweeping thick pine and larch forests. So fantastic excursions there. So I'm going to ask you, what are you most interested in experiencing when it comes to Canada? Just pop that in the questions box. I'm going to move my cursor over and have a look and see what we've got coming through. Aha. Yes, absolutely. I can see that somebody here has written Halifax. Look, you cannot go wrong with Halifax. It's absolutely gorgeous. And my recommendation is have the lobster. This is the Maritimes. It's fishing. It's fresh seafood and the most friendliest people. Absolutely. Halifax, love it. Head on out there to Peggy's Cove as well. I've got somebody here looking at Montreal. Look, I've experienced Montreal a lot, and I was fortunate also once to be there during a jazz festival. And it doesn't matter if there's a festival or not when you go to Montreal. There's so much to experience. I'd recommend Schwartz's meat. Schwartz is one of the oldest or one of the most original smoked meat institutions in Montreal. And there's also a fabulous place there, which is really, you can really feel the French flair of Saint Denis and also down to Old Montreal. And then if you're looking for a little bit more of the English side, there is St. Catherine. So Montreal, absolutely fantastic. Oh, yep, I've got another person here also saying Montreal. Absolutely. Can't go wrong. Got somebody here saying Niagara Falls will be your second visit. Oh, that's awesome. It blows me away the amount of water that rushes down Niagara Falls, and just walking along that paved boardwalk, approaching the falls and feeling the spray of water on you, and just that so much water rushing down. It's absolutely breathtaking. Got somebody here also looking at the Rocky Mountains. Absolutely. Yes. Well, the Rocky Mountains is one of the most, one of the biggest draw cards to head into Canada. So I hear you on that one there for sure as well. Thank you, everyone who contributed there and shared what they're looking at. We do have a maximum flexibility offer as well. And that is if you recall, I mentioned that we can book your rail journeys 24 months ahead of time. Now, not knowing what's happening with borders and so forth, we can still book that 24 months ahead of time, or even a few months ahead of time. And if by any chance there's a reason why you're unable to travel, we can reschedule that up to 5 days prior to departure. So this is the maximum flexibility offer, and this has been introduced due to borders being closed. So this is something that may not be around for much longer. We do have a deadline on this to book by 30th September, and it really is a win for you. So have a think about that as well. We do have a lot of special offers as well, so you can visit our website and see what latest special offers there are. We may also have some for Canada as well at the time that you do go ahead and book, so we can always apply that as well. And the special offers are combinable with that maximum flexibility offer. So you've heard a lot from me as to why Railbookers and why travellers love Railbookers. Here are just some client testimonials. We have a lot of people who come to us to put together their vacation year after year. It is only a 3-second hold time to get through to our consultants. And I'd also like to point out that we do work with all travel agents here in Australia and New Zealand. So you can also go through to your travel agent and let them know that you want to book through Railbookers and a rough idea of the itinerary that you might be looking at, or if you need it fully customised. We can absolutely help you there as well. We opened the office here in Sydney in August 2018, so nearly 2 years old, but we are very well established around the world. But Sydney was our newest office. Within 1 year, we received the winner of the Rail Operator of the Year Award at the Travel Agent Awards, called the Travel Awards. So that was a fantastic achievement from 1 year being in operation. A lot of that is because we were able to book so far in advance. We are very good when it comes to pricing and matching your budgets. And also it is only a 3-second hold time to get through to us. And so we are here your journey is just as important to us as it is to you. And we really want to make sure we get everything right. And then we've also got a lot of recognitions from a lot of pretty well-known brands around the world that you can see listed there. Every Tuesday we do these webinars. We love them. It gets us out of thinking about our little isolation and really gets us thinking and looking at where we can potentially go. You've always got to start the research, the planning phase of a holiday. So now's a good time to do that. So we've got a few upcoming webinars as well over the next couple of Tuesdays, and look out for those invitations that will be in your inbox, probably about 1 week prior to this happening. So always look out for those, and please join us. I have noticed that a few of you who have joined us today have been on some previous webinars as well. So I want to extend a massive warm welcome back to you, and also for those of you who are joining us for the first time. Welcome. I hope that we've been able to fulfill what you were looking for on this VIA Rail Vacations presentation. And I hope to see you on a few others, because there's a lot of different things that come through and a lot of different itinerary options for you, whether you want to stay closer to home or go further afield. Now, don't forget to download your free handouts and also that map, so you can really start to piece together what you'd like to do in Canada, how long you'd like to travel for, and let us take care of the rest. Now, I'd like to open up and see if you've got any questions. I have seen some questions come through this presentation, so I'll start to answer a few of those. I've had somebody ask here about payment plan. Okay, so I'll talk to you about the payment plan that we have. It's really simple, actually. We can lock in the price with a $250 deposit. Okay, so once we've got that $250 deposit, you are not, the price won't change, and there's no currency fluctuation impacted there as well. So what you commit to, that's what it is. We can always grow or remove parts of your itinerary from there, but locking it in with that $250 is key, because then that's when you get it in at the best rate possible. And then you can pay a couple of months, it's actually 3 months prior to departure, the full amount. Okay. So I've got somebody else here asking about extending a couple more nights in Toronto. So look, absolutely, it doesn't matter what itinerary you do. If it factors in Toronto, even if it doesn't, we can always put you into accommodation there in Toronto. So I'd be curious to know why you're going, but also if I can help you with any restaurant recommendations, I would definitely love to help you navigate your way around that fantastic city. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody, for some of those questions. They're a bit light on the questions today. I had a session this morning that I couldn't answer them all. So it's always, you just never know. So I do hope that we've been able to answer everything already for you. Pretty much 2 days to 2 years. Now, I know that we can't travel in 2 days' time, as much as I know a lot of us will be jumping on board those planes to do so. But that's as what we can book, is if when those borders are announced and opened, you can contact us and we can get you on a trip, and also anywhere from there up to 2 years in advance. So when you're ready, we're ready. You can start the planning now. You can call us, you can get that quote. You don't need to put that deposit on until you're ready. We can tweak it, we can massage it, we can really curate it to be what you would like. When you're ready, we're ready. Here is a photo of some of our global teams around the world ready to take your call. And remember, it is only a 3-second hold time. I would like to thank you all for joining me on this beautiful day. I just love talking about Canada, and so I think we've all got something in common here, is we're here for Canada. And if you ever need a traveling companion, I'd love to join you as well. I'll be your personal tour guide. Take care, stay safe, and please call us if you do need anything, and hope to see you at a future webinar on a Tuesday. Thank you. Bye-bye.